welcome back to this episode of Just Another Year Chicago. My name is Nick Rohde. I'm joined alongside White Sox specialist and baseball analyst Tony Cepeda, and today we are hitting on the history from Wednesday night that Carlos Rodon threw the 20th no-hitter in Chicago White Sox history, along with how the White Sox are doing overall. So, Tony, initial reaction, you were at the game for Carlos Rodon's no-hitter, which was probably incredible. Just quick initial reaction, like what was the atmosphere like?
It was the loudest, 8,000 people I've ever heard in my life. There were times, the ump would Rodon would throw a pitch in the dirt, not even a strike at all. But the boos were just absolutely chorusing. It was a chorus of boos. And it felt like a packed house. Should have been a perfect game. We can get into that a little more in a second, but overall, just absolutely incredible. The place went nuts. Couldn't have happened to a better guy.
Yeah. I just got to bust your chops a little bit as a Cubs fan. Is that 8,000 people sounds like the highest attended game in the last decade for guaranteed rate, or as you would say, the G spot. So, that's, so kind of go into, no doubt as a baseball fan, that was amazing to watch, especially for the city of Chicago with how bad the Cubs are doing right now. I am wearing a Cubs shirt today. We'll get to that at the end. So please stay tuned. But overall, just kind of hit on why was it not a perfect game? What was the play that happened? Kind of go into that.
Yeah, so he was cruising. I actually wasn't sure because I had missed the second or third inning of him pitching because I think we ran to the bathroom or something, and it was just a really quick inning. So we're oh, hopefully no one got on. But you can't ask, oh, does he have a perfect game? As you're out there, that's the unwritten rule. You never mention it. So we're all just we think he has a perfect game. And it gets to there's one out in the ninth, and he's at 100 pitches. He's really getting up there, and he goes up 0-2 on this guy. I should have probably looked up that guy's name, but I hate him, so I'll never learn it. And he threw this slider that the guy could have probably gotten out of the way of, but it curled down towards the dirt, and it hit the guy in the toe. It just barely caught him. He hit him. It is what it is. It's not like he leaned into it or anything. It was just a real shame. It was definitely, Rodon was a little, oh my gosh, I can't believe I just ruined it. It wasn't an error. It wasn't a normal walk. So that was we were all really nervous that he was going to just give up a bomb the next pitch and then completely ruin everything. But he did finish the no-hitter. And it's weird being it was just a no-hitter after almost a perfect game. But it was probably the coolest thing I've ever experienced in person.
Yeah,
sure.
And when you get to the ninth inning, guys are tired, but also the other team, if they're going to lose that game no matter what, they respect it's not like it used to be where guys actually earned a no-hitter or earned a perfect game. Teams now are all right, this is a big deal, but they're becoming more common. I think that there have been more no-hitters in the last 5 years than the last 25 years before that. So don't quote me on that, but that is, I believe, the stat that ESPN threw up there. Also, don't the White Sox have the most no-hitters in as a franchise in MLB history? I believe it's the White Sox or the Yankees. Someone in the AL has it.
The White Sox have 20, I know. That was the 20th no-hitter. I don't think it's us. Just because there was something where we've thrown a bunch kind of recently. The last 20 years, Mark Burley, I think, had a couple. Philip Humber, Lucas Giolito, whatever. But before that, there was a kind of a big gap. So I think you might be right on the Yankees.
But
we'll
the thing is that what people don't understand, it's so much easier to do it these days because there's analytics. People look more into stats, plays, shifts. You didn't see that back in the 80s when something happened like that. It was a monumental moment in MLB history. Now it's every other week you feel like there's a no-hitter, which is still extremely impressive because, certain pitches, you're tired, stamina, all that other stuff. But I kind of want to get into this with you really fast that makes this even more special is that Carlos Rodon was not even on the roster till January 30th of this year. He was a free agent. He actually went to a tryout. The Sox and the Cubs were both there, and he chose the Sox over the Cubs, which obviously with the situation that the Cubs are in right now, I do not blame him. He also only signed a $3 million deal, but it was almost fully guaranteed. So, Sox got an absolute steal in him. What an experience. But also, kind of going into that, we were talking about, I just hit on the Cubs are not doing well. The Sox aren't doing great either. They're sitting at 6-7, but you know, when they win, they're awesome games. Like their pitching's phenomenal. Their offense is great, but their defense, you know, we talked about this earlier in the season. Their defense still struggles a little bit. What overall do the Sox need to do to continue improvement, because they aren't winning these give me games, kind of like you've been hitting on?
Yeah, it really is just, I think I said it the last time. I know I've been tweeting it. The bats just got to wake up. They did during that no hitter. They scored 6 runs in the first inning. They flipped over the lineup. Hit an absolute tank to left field. But it just, besides that, like, they score in these bursts, and I think I've mentioned that as well. Like, even in that game, they scored 6 in the first. They scored like 2 in the third. But the Indians, like, in the other like 7 innings, basically threw a perfect game. Like, we really didn't get on besides that. And that's fine when you have those 6 run, those 2, those bigger innings. But when you don't, like yesterday, I think they got one like in the bottom of the 9th as well, made it 4-2. But I mean, 1 run through 8.5 innings, like, that's nothing. Like, Lance Lynn pitched great. It kind of got away from him. He gave up a home run in like the 6th. But I mean, that's still what, 2-0 against what's supposed to be one of the big, like, the best lineups in Major League Baseball.
Right.
So they just got to figure it out on offense. That's the big thing.
And
still a couple defensive errors, but
the talent is there. There is no doubt that the White Sox are just stacked with talent. I mean, sure, they're a little bit injury prone right now, but still, even without Tim Anderson, a couple of the other big names that are out right now, the Sox are still one of the best lineups in the AL, in our personal opinion. That's from, a Chicago fan. So I think that the Sox are going to get out of this. And also notice when the Sox played in LA, they were scoring runs like crazy. Why? Because it's warm out. Guys don't play as well when it's warm out. I think that, and this is just a personal opinion, but kind of like going to the no hitter, is when pitchers are at the advantage when it's cold out. And I say that because, you're not getting hot, you're a little less fatigued. And then hitters, it hurts to hit a ball when it's cold out, not wood is not as bad in my, I don't know about your personal experience, Tony, but man, I think the cold weather has to do with it. But let's move into our last subject really fast before we have to log off. But really quickly and thank you, Tony, for sharing your experience. Hopefully the White Sox get back on track. Going into the Cubs super duper fast. I know this is a Sox podcast, but today I will be heading to Wrigley Field, sitting dead center, right below first row, right in the when you walk up the stairs. I am the first row. I'm sitting alongside my friend Rob Pika. And log into our Instagram, official J Shy. And in between innings, I will be doing beer chugs. So if you want Venmo, I will post the Venmo at the bottom right here. Shoot me a Venmo and I will chug a beer with your shout out to it. So Tony's getting pumped up for it. Tony's take, how many beers am I drinking today?
Oh, actually, I don't know how much you drink at all. So I'm going to say 15 minimum. Minimum.
Oh man, thank God I'm not driving. So 15 beers for me. That's a take, but if the people want what the people want, I'm going to give it to them.
Got to do it for the content. Yep.
That's right. Well, thank you very much, everyone, for joining today. Tony, thank you for your time. Happy Friday, Chicago. Let's get some better baseball records. Let's get some runs and have some more good pitching. Thank you very much, Chicago. Happy